Hi, the topic is parts of the Constitution. Some of you might have by hearted parts of the Constitution by now, but my point is making it easier for you to remember things by using images. Now, let's look at the part 1 to 4. Let's consider this big circle to be a union, okay, which is part 1. Inside the union, you'll find citizen, so which is part 2. Now, the country has given us the fundamental rights and directive principles to its citizens. So, fundamental rights is part 3 and and directive principle is part 4. I use this heart symbol to more animate it more and so that you can remember it more clearly. So, when the country has given us the fundamental rights and directive principles, so we have to give something in back, right? So what are we doing? We are performing our duties, which is fundamental duties. So one of the fundamental duties is to protect the environment. So I've used this symbol showing protecting the environment to indicate the fundamental duties. You can use whichever with the symbol whatever you're comfortable with. So to revise again, there is a union, which is part 1. Inside union, you'll find a citizen, which is part 2. And the country has given us the fundamental rights and directive principle to its citizen, which is part 3 and part 4. So in return, we are performing our duties, which is part 4a itself. It's not part 5. Just remember that. Now from part 5 to 10. Okay, again let's draw two circles. Okay, so this indicates the union government, the center one, and at the periphery you have states. Okay, so state government. So center one is union government, which is part 5, and periphery is the state government, which is part 6. When the periphery with the state, you also have union territory too. But just remember, there's no part 7. Part 7 has been deleted. So after part 6, we directly move to part 8 for union territories. Okay. Now inside the state, one can find panchayat, which is part 9, that is in villages. In cities you can find municipality, which is 9a. Okay, apart from panchayat municipality, you can some states also have schedule and tribal area, which is part 10. Okay, so again to summarize, the center one is the union government, which is part 5. At the periphery you have I've located the state government, which is part 6. After part 6, there's no part 7. Yeah, just remember that. And then we go on to part 8 for union territory. Then if you look inside the state, you can find panchayat, which is part 9. Panchayat will be in rural areas, and in urban areas it is municipality. Then some states also have schedule and tribal area, okay, which is part 10. Now we are dealing with the part 11 to 16. Okay, so part 11 to 16, again in center, let's draw the center and state. Okay, now let's draw an arrow mark, and I've written heart here just to again to animate things and indicate the relation between center and state. Okay, which is part 11. Now I've drawn rupee, indicate the finance. Okay, which is part 12. With the finance, after finance, what comes is trade. This is the industry and this is a good produce which are traded. This is a symbol I use. You can use whichever you're comfortable with. So after finance comes the trade. Then I've written IS here to so that we can connect it more easily. And which is part 14, nothing but services under union and state. Then comes 14a, which is tribunal. So you can remember a story here. IAS officer who is not satisfied, he goes to the tribunal, and there after the tribunal declares elections, which is part 15. Then after election, what happens? There is special provisions relating to certain classes are provided, which is part 16. You can just remember this story, and this story is just to make things easier, to remember. That's it. Now again, to summarize, part 11 is nothing but the relation between center and state. Okay, so just I've shown this using a heart symbol. Then comes the finance, and then the trade. Then comes the services under state and central government. So which I've just written IAS officer, and then tribunal, which is 14A itself. Just remember, IAS officer is connected with tribunal, and then tribunal declares elections, which is part 15. So we, after elections, there's special provisions for certain classes, which is part 16. Now part 7. Then again, now part 17 to 22. Again, let's remember this in the form of a story. Okay, let's remember there's a guy at the age of 17 years learns some 4-5 languages, and at the age of 18, age 18 is considered to be a very crucial age where there's a lot of hormonal changes. Let's name this as emergency age. Then he meets a girl and falls in love with her, so which is 19. Then after some time he realizes that he has to concentrate on his career, so he cuts all the unnecessary things in his life. That is amendment, which is part 20. Then he goes into transition phase. This is just a symbol to show meditation. So he goes into temporary and transition phase. After that, he works hard, and he gets some degree in education, which is title. So part 22. Again, to revise, at the age of 17 the guy learns 4-5 languages to impress someone, and then 18 there is this emergency, and then part 19 to indicate that he falls in love with some girl. Then he does some amendments, or removes unnecessary things from his life. He goes to a transition phase, which is temporary. Then after that, coming out of transition phase, he gets some degree or title, etc. So which is part 22. Okay, hope this has helped you. Please leave your comments, and give me your feedback. Thank you.